These are the worst ways real people have passed away. History can tell us the worst ways people have died. Life does not go on forever and will all pass away at some point, hopefully of old age and as painlessly as possible. However, some people, such as Hisashi Aochi, have experienced horrifying passings from rare occurrences, like the worst case of radiation poisoning ever recorded. On September 30th, 1999, Aochi went to work like any other day at a nuclear fuel processing plant in Tokimura, Japan. Unfortunately, during this shift, Aochi and a few co-workers were performing a standard task where they were purifying uranium oxide. However, on this occasion, the three workers were handling a richer amount of uranium than they were typically used to. While pouring uranium oxide into a bucket, a bright flash of blue light appeared, startling the workers. They didn't know it at the time, but this blue flash was a large release of nuclear radiation. Horrifyingly for Aochi, the bright blue flash signified the beginning of an 83-day countdown until his death of radiation poisoning and the start of one of the most painful and grotesque deaths in recorded history. Following the incident, Aochi was immediately taken to hospital, in which he didn't look too bad. He was slightly red in the face, had bloodshot eyes, and complained about pain in his ears and hand. However, within 24 hours, Aochi needed to be placed on supported oxygen and his organs had begun to shut down. 6 days following the incident, doctors confirmed that Aochi's bone marrow cells had broken, and because of the sterilizing effects of high radiation exposure, his body could not create new cells to replace them. He also began to require blood transfusions, and his body couldn't produce replacement blood cells. At this point, Aochi had come to terms with his fate and impending doom. Unfortunately, the doctors looking after him had recognized the uniqueness of the situation and kept him alive for research purposes for his remaining 77 days. Aochi's flesh began to tear off when medical tape was removed from his body. He could no longer eat by himself and complained of constant thirst due to the extreme conditions his body was going through. After 2 months of agonizing pain, skin tearing off, organ failure, and assisted breathing, Aochi's heart finally stopped beating, but only to be successfully revived by the medical staff taking care of him. Shortly after, Aochi again passed away at the age of 35, leaving behind a wife and small child. Hisashi's story is saddening and extremely unpleasant.